September 18th, 2025, episode 600, episode 600. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. Shall we? Man posed as cop and rolling cat and mouse with real officer fleeing arrest in Edina.
The man from Inver Grove Heights who allegedly impersonated a police officer while trying to pull over an actual police officer. Here's Lou Goose.
47-year-old Luke Reuter is charged with impersonating an officer, fleeing, and assault with a dangerous weapon, his own car. According to the criminal complaint, Reuter, who also goes by Luke Eischen, started following, cutting off, and filming a Maple Grove police officer in an unmarked squad car on Highway 169.
I'm going to tell you right now, there is nothing funnier than Luber Goose. Luber Goose stole the show, because how the hell can I follow a name like Luber Goose? But what's up with these 40-plus-year-old men that all of a sudden they want to be police officers? They don't even want to be real police officers. They just want to order a bunch of crap online and play dress up. Mr. Potato Head Cop, TikTok Shop Cop. Since you love costumes so much, there's a group of people, there's a whole community of people that put on costumes every day with furry little animals, and they go have group sex with each other. Doesn't that sound a lot more satisfying than riding around pretending to be a cop? Ken doll cop?
We have been asking for stronger penalties for those that impersonate law enforcement officers, and yet it's just a slap on the wrist.
A man allegedly posing as a police officer played a rolling game of cat and mouse on Twin Cities highways with a real cop. He was stopped and got out of his vehicle in Edina, but then quickly drove off to evade arrest, according to charges, like a pussy, because if you're imitating a cop, you must think you could do a better job than a trained police officer. Why would you run? Why wouldn't you just stand there and say, I think I can do a better job than you? Luke Aaron Reuter, 47, of Inver Grove Heights, was charged in Hennepin County District Court with second-degree assault, fleeing police, and impersonating an officer in connection with the incident Thursday that spanned several miles. Reuter, who also has gone by Luke Eischen, was arrested and jailed that same night. He has since been released on bail and is due in court on November 4th. In a phone call and an email Wednesday to the Minnesota Star Tribune, Reuter said the allegations are 100% made up. Now that's what I call stupid, kids. How the hell could this be made up when the real cop didn't even know the Ken doll cop until the Ken doll cop tried to pull the real cop over? They would have never met each other. I think they're trying to bully people, especially drivers. Hey, you cut me off back there. I'm an off-duty cop. Can I see your license? Yeah, now I got your address and your license plate. But if you give me some money, I'll look the other way this time. One of these days, one of these loonies are going to bump into someone smuggling guns for the cartel, and the only thing that's going to be left of them is a partial print. He explained that he was starting his day delivering packages, so that was after you ended your day of being a fake police officer in his own vehicle that had Amazon signs affixed, when a driver he didn't know at the time was a police officer cut right in front of me. Reuter insisted that at no point did I flee from law enforcement, commit a crime, or endanger anyone. My actions were solely to document and report a person whose behavior on the road caused me concern for my safety and the safety of others. That sounds very rehearsed.
When the officer stopped to call for backup, Reuter allegedly approached wearing this anti-ice cap with a red light in his car, claiming to be recording with a body camera as if making a traffic stop, before nearly running over the officer when he tried to arrest Reuter, court papers say. Police later found a police-style flashlight and multiple flashing lights in Reuter's car.
Once both vehicles were stopped, Reuter, wearing a baseball cap with a profane message about U.S. immigration and customs enforcement, his baseball cap said F ICE on it. And if you're a real cop, you would not wear that cap no matter how you feel about ICE, got out of his SUV and walked toward the officer. Reuter said he was wearing a body camera and pointed his cell phone as if he was conducting a traffic stop. The charges added. Wait a minute. How are you going to be a cop and an Amazon delivery driver at the same time? What if you have to deliver a package to someone that you just pulled over? Isn't that a conflict of interest? Is this why the kids are always late getting picked up from soccer practice? You're off doing extracurricular activities with the family vehicle. You probably got a flipper sign in your window that says DoorDash, Uber, Amazon, and police. The officer told Reuter that he was under arrest. Reuter got back in his SUV, and as the officer tried to block him from leaving, the SUV nearly hit the officer's legs. His stupidity is starting to pay dividends. Hours later, police caught up with Reuter in Inver Grove Heights. A police search of his SUV turned up numerous red and blue lights, a flashlight, a camera mounted on the rearview mirror, and 4 interior light bars. Really playing the part, huh? A dispatcher told investigators that she took a call from someone earlier that morning claiming he had spotted someone impersonating a police officer on the eastern edge of Plymouth near highways 169 and 55. I'll follow him wherever he goes and we'll figure this out, the 911 caller allegedly said, according to the criminal complaint, which did not identify the caller. Of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I'd love to hear your opinions on this. Yes, this should get more attention because more and more people are beginning to impersonate police officers, but it especially has the concern of Minnesota law enforcement because just this past June, a man by the name of Vance Bolter dressed up as a police officer and killed House Democratic leader Melissa Hortman and wounded a senator. Now, it might be just a midlife crisis, but damn, get some tattoos, go on a trip, get a motorcycle, cheat on your wife like a responsible adult, play with something safe. Career up in smoke. FDNY boss resigns after furor over racist cotton ball game at NYC school.
FDNY EMS Union President Orrin Barzilay says the department has a history of racial and gender bias, prompting 6,500 FDNY EMS members like Lieutenant Rob Mark to join a 2022 class action lawsuit.
I've become numb to the BS, the racial disparity.
He believes the incident with the high schoolers was ignorant and offensive.
Well, she's definitely no stranger to a second helping. I could see that. She looks like she could be stuck in a bygone era. Simpler times is a term they tend to use. She looks like she calls out bingo numbers. You could have had those kids bob for apples and kept your job unless you ate all the apples. A high-ranking FDNY official resigned under fire after bizarrely leading a group of mostly black students at a Brooklyn high school in a cotton ball relay race that some critics call racist, the Post has learned. And for you people in the comments that are saying, oh, the kids didn't look upset, they didn't look like they had any complaints, well, that's why they're kids. It's up to the people that can see things for what they really are and not what they appear to be to call this type of behavior out. Just because someone doesn't know they're being disrespected doesn't mean that it's okay to continue to disrespect them. The goofy game, historically popular at summer camps. This is a leadership academy, not a summer camp. Leadership academy means I'm there to learn something. Involve teams of players with petroleum jelly smeared on their faces. Now, Michelle might enjoy a greasy face from licking the frying pan from time to time, but I, for one, am not willing to block my pores up with Vaseline for a game. Picking up cotton balls with their heads, hands tied behind their backs to see who could carry the most balls across the classroom. It was billed as a team building exercise. Now, come on, kids, let's be honest with each other here. She looks like she doesn't know the first thing about anything exercise. The only weight she knows is 25-pound turkey, 5-pound bags of potatoes, and 1 pound of ground beef. So I checked out her LinkedIn to see if she had a few years of being a firefighter, EMT, some type of first responder. I didn't see any of that. She has all administrative and public speaking skills. She's an administrator at best. If this was a program for potential firefighters or EMT EMTs, I wouldn't want to hear anything from old sailboat draws over here. My opinion, this is just my opinion. I want to hear from someone that actually ran into burning buildings, maybe someone that's still around from 9/11, to discuss with me what it actually takes to be a first responder.
I found it offensive, and many people who reached out to me.
The students were led by a white instructor, an assistant commissioner at the FDNY who was recently fired. A spokesperson for the department saying, once we became aware of the incident, we immediately modified her duty status and launched an investigation.
Black children with their hands tied with cravats behind their back to pick cotton balls with their face. It's disgraceful.
Maglione, who is white, posted video of the antics on social media, which showed some grinning students were clearly enjoying the game. And I don't doubt for a second that they were enjoying themselves, but on the outside looking in, it's a bad look. But FDNY recruiters who saw the video were not laughing. Now we're talking about the recruiters, the people who are actually tasked with finding the next generation of firefighters and EMTs. That's the canary in the coal mine. If they don't like it, then you know it's not supposed to ride. They complained to FDNY brass that they found the exercise offensive, citing the history of slavery and cotton picking. And what does this have to do with firefighting or anything team building, slathering a bunch of grease on your face and putting cotton on your face? It reminds me of like a mild form of tar and feathering. Maglione, who collected nearly $190,000 in city salary last year, was removed from the school and demoted. She then chose to retire rather than face disciplinary charges, officials said. You know, for someone that might not like black people, she sure looks like she knows her way around a few of Patty's pies. It would have taken her 2 minutes to run this past someone else, and that person would have told her immediately that this is a terrible idea. At 57 years old, she should be well aware that the most blatant reference to black racism other than the hard R are references to picking cotton, i.e. slavery. An agency insider called the situation a sad end to Maglione's service to FDNY. Either you die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
There may be laughter coming from this classroom, but officials say what's happening to students in this video is no joke.
Can't use your hands, can't use your hands.
I didn't like the other children that had their hands tied behind their backs. I found that kind of like, kind of discriminating to me.
Luz Haney's twin daughters were in this summer class at the FDNY's Youth Leadership Academy. One of them seen here doing what the department labeled a team building exercise in August. But the city's mayor calls it terrible.
One should know the significance of cotton and picking cotton.
It was poor judgment. I agree. It was a very bad look. An agency source said, I've known Michelle for a long time. She's a lovely person. She's lovely to you. She cares about those kids. Maybe she cares about some kids. It's conditional, unlike her appetite. However, Kara McCammon, 24, who attended FDNY's EMS Youth Academy at Fort Totten in 2023, claimed Maglione, who oversaw the 6-month program for 17 to 28-year-olds aspiring to be city EMTs, once told the mostly black and Hispanic students, "You don't belong here," and called them idiots. And this is what I'm talking about. She doesn't belong in front of these students. She doesn't know the first thing about first aid or fighting a fire. I'll give you her LinkedIn page. She's an administrator at best. When McCammon criticized Maglione on Instagram for creating a hostile environment, she was booted from the program a week before final exams, she told the Post. Now, do you think this was an isolated incident? Do you think she was the only one? If you do, you need to wake up, because she might not have the expertise to teach anyone a damn thing, but she has enough pull to kick you out of the program. The FDNY did not respond to the allegations. Classic case of a gatekeeper. Gatekeeping, trying to discourage these kids with hopes that they'll quit. This is what we call being tricked out of your spot. Don't let anyone trick you out of your spot. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't do it or you're not good enough to do it. This game was very degrading. It was a bad look. That's the best way that I can describe it. Tying their hands behind their backs, the Vaseline, the cotton, which I equate to tar and feathering. There are so many other games that could have been played. Why this one? Absolutely. Maglione declined to to comment at her Diker Heights home this week. Mayor Eric Adams called the game terrible, saying one should know the significance of picking cotton and putting it on their face. I found it offensive, and many people who reached out to me found it offensive, he told Pix 11, which first reported the controversy. New York City Schools Chancellor Melissa Aviles Ramos also ripped the incident. This kind of behavior is insensitive and in no way aligned with our values, covering her ass, and we are grateful to the FDNY for taking swift action to address it. She told the station, we will always do everything to ensure our students are respected and supported. Of course, I love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. It's no secret that racism still exists in America. Unfortunately, it's alive and well, but this isn't that type of racism where there's some moron hiding behind a computer typing mean things to get a rise out of people. It hits a little different when there's a face to put to it. A fat face, but still a face. Fun show, fun show, fun show. The music for this episode is from Caesar Beats. Get your music from Caesar Beats. I'll leave the contact information down here at the bottom. If you're a producer and you would like to have your music featured on an episode of this podcast, reach out to me on any one of my socials. I'll leave that contact information up at the top. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials. Find me wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. I even got the videos up on Apple Podcasts now. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Jusqu'à la prochaine fois. Well, she's definitely no stranger to a second helping. I could see that.